welcome back to another episode of the Rugby Show. Today I am joined by Consistent Walkthroughs yet again, and today we're going to be answering another very interesting question, and that is rugby too confusing? So hello, Consistent Walkthroughs, once again.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me once again.
So do you reckon then rugby, obviously people do say it's too confusing, that's from like fans that aren't fans of rugby, if that makes sense, fans of sports but not fans of rugby. Do you reckon that's a reason why it's not as popular as football/soccer, wherever you are in the world?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in football, the most confusing thing, well, it's always very topical, is the offside rule. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. I mean, everyone knows what a goal is, what a throwing is, and what a slide tackle is, a tackle, a bad tackle, etc. So there's not really too much rules to follow. I think in terms of rugby, I mean, there's so many. I mean, I get criticised because my videos are like, oh Matt, I can't believe you didn't know that, or you know,
Yeah.
and I watch rugby, but I don't watch probably rugby as much rugby as you do, and you probably know far more about the rules than I do. But from my understanding and from watching the game, sometimes I'm like, oh, why is that? And my dad, who used to be a ref, would go, oh, Matt, it's because of that. And
Yeah.
I think with rugby, yeah, there's loads, right? For example, we'll take one one to talk about quickly is, you know, um, when a player places the rugby ball on their own try line,
Yeah.
what happens, right? So you have two things, right? So if he brings the ball over, it's their 5 metre scrum.
Yeah.
But if the opponent kicks the ball over and it rolls and you place it down, then it's your 22.
Yeah.
So for someone who was new, be like, why did 5 minutes ago was there a scrum and why the same
Yeah.
thing happen again be a 22? Unless you don't, like, if you took your eyes off the ball for literally a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that is the case. I think, and also I think the one thing as well with rugby is people get confused probably about certain things. Like for example, lineouts, right? Like where I watch at Saracens, I get to walk around the stadium really close up, and half the time the hooker rarely throws the ball in straight.
Yeah, I know.
But according to the law, the ball should be straight, right?
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes they penalise, sometimes they don't. It's
Yeah.
like the scrum, right? I've never seen a scrum where the ball goes in straight. It always goes to the right or to the
Yeah.
left, you know? So those type of rules, I mean, if you were to say to someone, should the ball be straight? Half the people will go, yeah, it should be, mate. But then
Yeah.
the other half will go, no, I've seen on TV everyone just goes to the left or goes to the right and don't get penalised. So, yeah, I think the rules can. I think there's a lot of rules in place. It's not a simple game, but it is a very enjoyable game, which doesn't make it boring. So, I think
Yeah.
that's probably why there's so many rules in place.
Because going back to the whole, what you were just saying with the scrum and the line and stuff, did you know there's actually another one as well? When the team has the ball in the ruck and the referee shouts use it, did you know it's actually only, well, originally when they put that rule in place, it's only actually meant to be 3 seconds before you use it, and usually most referees, you never ever see the person hold it, well, pass it out or kick it or whatever they do with it. They always hold it on after 3 seconds, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that? Did you, or? 'Cause I know.
I've heard them say use it because I thought it
Yeah.
was maybe in terms of like use it is when they're not moving or they're not making any progress
Yeah.
to kind of speed up the game.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, when that rule was originally in place, it was meant to be only 3 seconds after saying use it that you had to use it. Whereas a lot of referees this day and age let it go on to like 10 seconds and the game slows down a lot more. So, interesting fact. In case people,
yeah, it is.
anybody at home didn't know that either. So then, do you reckon another interesting point? Do you think the scrums are too long? Because obviously a lot of people say that. I mean, scrums can sometimes, if they keep getting reset and going down all the time, they can go on for about 10 minutes. Would you say that's something that needs to be changing, or do you think it's a good part of the game?
So I think with scrums there needs to be kind of a thing like baseball, like three times and we move on because sometimes both forwards go down and the ref goes reset, and I mean, you know, that's kind of like, oh, like it takes the sting out the game,
Mm.
like I feel like when I mean tactically, I mean I've seen it as from Saracens' point of view, and they do it very well. Is when let's say Saracens are down to 14 men or have a yellow card, they'll play it in a way where they'll do something where they know they won't get penalised, but the ref will have to reset, and that, the timer goes down. And I feel like a lot of clubs or a lot of teams do this because A, they know how to reduce time, because scrums is one of those things where you don't really get penalised unless like you keep doing it. And I think with scrums there should be a thing in place where it's like 3 times we move on, maybe a free kick, penalty or something. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when you watch rugby, but sometimes refs, they go down once, straight away penalty. Sometimes refs want to keep going. It's like you were saying earlier on. Some refs do the 3-second rule, some refs do the 10-second rule. There's not always a consistency with the rules there.
Yeah. So then, obviously, as you know, rugby isn't as popular in a lot of smaller countries. For example, I don't know. I know Chile. I mean, they have a rugby team, but obviously it's not popular down there. Football, / soccer is. Mexico, those sort of like corners of the world. Same as a lot of places in Europe aren't popular when it comes to rugby. Would you say again the rules have something to do with that, or just because soccer is more simple?
I think football, soccer, it's simple, but also the big names, right? So, if you were to go to someone, a young kid, and say, "What do you watch, football or rugby?" They probably watch football because there's big names which are on TV adverts and just, like when you go into a shoe shop, oh, there's a footballer, and
Yeah.
I feel like the big names help carry the sport. It's like in anything. I know it's very different, but I'm big into esports and like Call of Duty esports and like gaming, where it's like competitive, and teams or the sport gets bigger based on players, not always the game itself, but if a big name is playing, a lot of people, are attracted to it. It's like the fans are bees and the players are like honey. They're just going to keep going to it, and I feel like in rugby you don't see. I mean, if you were to say right now, like, who are some of the biggest players in the world which people go, oh, I'm really excited to look out for? I mean, maybe some of the international players, but, I mean, unless your family watches rugby, I think it's hard to get into.
Yeah, I mean, because like looking at like football compared to rugby, let's say Lionel Messi walked down the street, I'm pretty sure he'd be swarmed by fans, like hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands. Whereas, let's say, Faf de Klerk from South Africa walks down the street in the UK, maybe under 100 fans would probably know who he is. Would you say? I mean, I personally think it would.
Yeah, I mean, I was in an airport in Dublin, and I saw the whole Munster crew just walking around, and there was I knew who they were, like not always individuals, but I knew the club, and I knew these guys are probably playing in their next match or something, and you know, you, they just walked around like normal people,
Yeah,
Whereas if you saw, I mean, they're in their kit, right? Like rugby players are in their kit, they're promoting who they are. A
yeah,
footballer, if the whole football squad were in their kit, they're going to get swamped.
yeah.
So it's completely different. It's like oranges and apples, very different, very, very different.
So have you actually ever met any players then, out of curiosity? I mean, personally, I've never met anyone. I met, well, I didn't actually meet them. I mean, I remember going up on a school trip up to Cardiff, and we were going to this Christmas fair thing that was up there. And we were supposed to be meeting the Cardiff Blues players. Apparently they were going to be there, and they never turned up. So we walked off to go shopping, and we just casually walked past these two people in Cardiff Blues kits. And I was like, bloody hell, it's Harry Robinson! And he just turned around and looked at me and carried on walking. And I was like, Jesus, that's literally the only interaction I've ever had with a rugby player.
Yeah, I've only met people. I wouldn't say like outside of like rugby, but I have definitely, um, I have like seen players, especially when I go, like for example, I'm going to Ireland soon to see Leinster versus Saracens, and especially when you hang around near the stadium,
Yeah,
you do sometimes like see the players. But I've met, when I say I've met, like I've shaken some like Saracens legends or whatever when I used to be at
yeah,
Vicarage Road, an old stadium, and but I don't really see them outside. But if I'm at a
yeah.
rugby game, sometimes you see the players who are not fit, will walk around and say hello to people.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. So then going back to the whole question, because I felt like we went way off track then. Would you say then we need to introduce new rules for smaller teams to grow with the sport of rugby, or keep it the same?
I think they have to. I think with rugby, it's an interesting one, but I think if they can speed it up in a way, I think the scrums are the biggest bottleneck. But I think if they can fix scrums where they make it easy,
Mm,
in terms of like a free strike system or something, then everyone knows, right? Or if done that once, if done that twice, right? Next time, boys, it's going to be a penalty or whatever it is.
yeah.
I think the rules in place are fine. I think you know speeding it up works better. I mean, that's why. I mean, you could say that, but then I could ask myself, Matt, why isn't rugby league more popular? Because rugby league is very fast playing sport.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think doing the rules itself is fine. I mean, when internationals are on, load of people are interested. When it comes to club rugby, not as big. I don't know why. I ask someone and they go, "Oh, I love watching the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Do you support a club team? Oh, not really." Whereas
Yeah.
in football, it's very different.
Yeah.
You get more people watching you get more people watching club football than some of the international matches. Whereas in rugby, it's complete opposite.
Yeah, because it's like that with the regions here in Wales. Don't know if you knew this, but obviously when Wales are playing the likes of, say, even France this weekend, the Principality Stadium is sold out. So that's 64,000 people sitting in that stadium watching Wales. Even if it's against Italy, they sell it out. Whereas when it comes to the clubs, the Ospreys, which are, I mean, arguably one of the biggest clubs in Wales at one point, they were the most successful anyway. They play in the Liberty Stadium, which is a 22,000 stadium. Most games they'll get about 5,000. If under that, they'll never go above that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's just I think it's just how it is, isn't it? It's just
Yeah,
obviously like when the World Cup was on, I guess it was buzzing, but I don't know. It's just interesting how football and rugby are very different when it comes to international support as well as club support.
yeah. Because like another debate people have as well. Me personally, right, with my answer to this question, a lot of people wouldn't agree in football. In football, if you were asked the question, what would you rather, your club win, I don't know, the best tournament ever, or your nation win the World Cup? What would you pick? And most football fans would say club. They'd rather their club do well over their
Yeah.
nation. Whereas when it comes to rugby fans, if you ask them, "Oh, what would you rather, England or Wales win the World Cup, or Saracens win the European League? What would you prefer?" I mean, I'd pick nation.
See, it's an interesting one. I feel like I don't know. I feel the reason why I think club is because club is more personal to people, whereas if everyone in England supports England, it's kind of like a shared accomplishment. Like, oh, the nation has won. But
Yeah,
if for example, let's say you support Exeter, right, a very big, powerful team in the Premiership,
yeah,
and you said to me, would I rather Saracens win the Championship Cup and England don't win the World Cup, or Exeter win the Championship Cup and England win the World Cup? I rather want Saracens because I couldn't stand, the Exeter fans going like, "Woo!" I don't know,
yeah,
one of those things. But I guess because I follow football, just like I do with rugby, so I guess it's kind of maybe a bit selfish. But I guess because I prefer to, even like for England, right? I prefer club rugby to internationals just because you know the players more and you are more connected with your squad rather than internationals.
yeah. It's probably because England have won a World Cup in rugby and Wales haven't. So, uh,
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, I was really excited for us, to win the World Cup, and well, potentially win the World Cup obviously last year. But
yeah,
you know, it's just how it is. I mean, it is nice when it's on and you want them to win, but I mean, I don't really go to international matches. I go to club matches just because it's a complete different atmosphere.
yeah. Okay, so staying on the whole Rugby World Cup topic, which is actually our last thing to talk about. Do you think the Rugby World Cup should be expanded to make the game more popular in smaller countries, or do you think it should just stay the same in the way it is? I mean, as it is now, you have really good teams like, say, Germany, Spain, you have Chile, Brazil, they're all developing, but as it is, there's better teams than them, so they may never reach a World Cup, and then obviously the game may never grow in popularity in those countries. So would you say the World Cup needs to expand, maybe like one group, two groups, or not?
Yeah, I think have an extra group or have an extra team in a group or pool. I think it's like with football. I mean, you if we have clubs, if we have countries who are not so good, but if you ask any country, like, oh, if your team's on TV or in a big tournament, there's going to be some support. And what will happen is, and what you're hoping is like with anything really, is, let's say, for example, let's take Spain, right? So Spain have a rugby team, and they don't do well. But what you're hoping is that the people who are watching Spain go, I actually really enjoy this.
Yeah.
Spain are now out of the tournament, but I'm going to support another team.
Yeah.
And then they will keep watching. You get some people drop off, but you really want to keep that engagement going.
Yeah.
And if you are able to keep that engagement going, then, for example, let's say Spain don't have the biggest club teams in the world, but they might start following other teams. Like, oh, I really like the English league, or going back to the beginning in terms of like famous players, someone might go, oh, I really like Owen Farrell. Who does he play for? Oh, he plays for Saracens. Oh, I support Saracens. They're not loyal fans, but that's how people find clubs to support. It's normally based on a player that they like. So I think it should be a good thing. It'd be good for the game, good for the popularity, and the Championship Cup. The one thing I like about it is they go to different cities around Europe to help benefit the economy. For example, not this season, but the season before. I think it was season before. Yeah, we went to Bilbao, and Bilbao is a small town in Spain, and unreal. Everyone was friendly, super friendly. You would never go to Bilbao because you'd probably go to Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. The Championship Cup, they bring a trophy or the tournament to small countries sometimes, and that really helps out, because why would you bring a European trophy or competition final for a club like Spain when Spain don't really have a rugby background? So I think they are trying to, but I think definitely add some more teams to the World Cup.
Yeah. Okay. So to answer our question overall, just to finish the video off, is rugby too confusing? I'm going to say no. Keep it the way it is. What's your answer?
I don't think it's confusing if you're watching with someone who knows the sport. If you're watching it for the very first time, I think it's confusing.
Okay. There we are, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you go ahead and leave a like down below to show your support for this series. We upload rugby videos every single week, guaranteed, so make sure you go ahead and subscribe. There's going to be loads more episodes for this, and make sure you let me know in the comment section any questions you want the two of us to answer, or maybe even the three of us next time, because the Rugby Guru will hopefully be in more episodes with us as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I've been Andrew. He's been Consistent Walkthroughs. Go check out his channel in the description. We'll see you in another episode. Peace out, guys.